on CTV News at 5.
I think with the cost of living, it's not surprising that people are struggling to pay the bills and to keep up with everything.
Barely getting by. Nearly half of Canadians are living paycheck to paycheck.
People are getting out to see the city, getting out to see lots of other things, and they make the museum a part of their annual visit to the museum.
Going back in time, you don't need to go far to go on a trip through history.
Green's my favorite color. Get more luck. Yeah.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Maritimers brave the nasty weather for a family-friendly affair or a festive drink.
The rain clears and the wind eases as we move through the evening.
Live from the Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 5.
Good evening and welcome to CTV News at 5. I'm Stephanie Seacos in for Maria Panapallis. Thanks for joining us. First at 5 tonight, paycheck to paycheck. Many Canadians are struggling to pay their bills each month, with a rising number who say they're barely getting by. As CTV's Vanessa Wright reports, between housing, groceries, and now gas prices, it's only getting harder. Vanessa.
Hi, Stephanie. And that may be why many Maritimers I spoke with today were not surprised by this new survey. Some said words like anxiety and pressure come to mind when they think about their current financial situation.
From housing to food and now gas, Canadians are feeling the squeeze like never before. A new survey from Vivid Data found nearly half of the country is living paycheck to paycheck.
I think with the cost of living, it's not surprising that people are struggling to pay the bills and to keep up with everything.
I think it affects everyone, young or old, married couples, singles, unemployed, homeless. Everyone's affected by it.
The survey painting a grim picture at how tight Canadian budgets have become.
Well, we were really surprised at some of these numbers, 58% saying less disposable income than before. 51% say they need to stick to a budget to make ends meet. That's no wiggle room at all.
Alan McNeil says he's barely getting by, even at 80 years old.
I get a Canada pension, old age pension, and just the other day, with the price of oil going up, it was $600. That's one of my checks gone right there, and then we got to eat and we got to pay insurance on the house, and it's almost getting to the point now where I'm going to have to either give it up, sell the house, and try to get a smaller place or do something.
And for those with credit cards, an even bigger strain. The survey found 36% of Canadian credit card holders carry a balance and rely on credit cards when they're short on money, though 1 out of 3 people reported being unable to pay off their credit card bills each month.
Those people, they already have potentially a mortgage and other credit, but they carry a balance month to month. 68% say they have less disposable income, and 53% say they feel overwhelmed by financial burdens. Feeling overwhelmed, that's more than 1 in 2 Canadians.
Now, this is all changing how Canadians tackle debt. 74% of people say rising costs are making them more careful about how they spend their money, but 71% admit inflation has reduced how much they can save. Stephanie.
Thanks, Vanessa. CTV's Vanessa Wright reporting live in our news center this evening. And it's time now to take a look at what's coming up tonight on CTV News at 6 with Todd Battis. And you're looking at budgets of a different kind.
Yeah, New Brunswick has money issues of its own, Stephanie. The finance minister unveiled his new budget today, and as expected, the deficit is $1.4 billion. There are some spending cuts, but many observers expected tighter spending controls than were announced. One surprise was the introduction of tolls for vehicles coming from other provinces. We'll tell you about that. We'll have reaction as well tonight at 6 o'clock. We are learning more tonight about the victim of that hit and run in Cape Breton over the weekend. 23-year-old Casey Reed was killed by a hit and run driver on the Louisbourg Highway. That happened Saturday night. She was the mother of 4 small children. She's being remembered today in her home of Albert Bridge. We will get more on the case tonight from Ryan McDonald. There they are, down power poles, snapped tree limbs, even a roof that got ripped off an abandoned building. There was plenty of damage from heavy wind and rain across the region. At one point, almost 30,000 Maritimers didn't have electricity. Coming up at 6, we'll look at the fury, let's call it that, of a mid-March storm. And let's bring in Kayla Mitchell. Things have settled down considerably. right?
Did you see some of the pictures and video, though, earlier today, Todd, of people lining up to get in for St. Patrick's Day events?
Undaunted.
My hat's off to those brave individuals, because it was wet and it was windy, and as we saw, the wind having impact around the region.
They deserve whatever they were going in to get.
Absolutely. Taking a look at temperatures right now, one of the things with this weather system is because the winds were out of the south, it really drove up temperatures in the region. There are still a lot of areas holding on to some mild to warm temperatures, a few still up in the low teens, including areas in Cape Breton. Temperatures have started to already come down, though, up in the northwest of New Brunswick, and there is some colder air that's going to be moved into place around the Maritimes by a westerly wind as we make our way through tonight. Now, speaking of the winds, here's where we stand with the current winds in the region. So they are beginning to diminish for a good portion of the Maritimes. I mean, they're not light by any stretch of the imagination. There's still very blustery conditions as the wind direction starts to change over towards the west, and the wind will continue to become more westerly as we move through this evening and tonight. Some of the stronger winds are still present around eastern parts of the region, especially in locations in Cape Breton, where some peak wind gusts are still coming up above 80 kilometers per hour. Taking a look at things on radar and satellite, the still windy conditions are being accompanied by some rain in some areas, so that will continue to clear off towards the east as we make our way through this evening. This is now a very long weather front off of that low pressure system that is centered up towards Labrador. The front itself is outlined here in the cloud cover. You can see stretching from all the way down around the southeastern United States towards Florida, all the way up into and through Atlantic Canada, and even moving up towards Greenland. Very large weather system at this point. Taking a look at the remaining warnings in effect for eastern areas in Nova Scotia, including Cape Breton, the eastern shore, and the north shore, still underneath the wind warning, still for the potential of some gusts up to 100 kilometers per hour, though those wind gusts will be diminishing as we move through this evening. And there remains a rainfall warning out for parts of the eastern shore of Nova Scotia, an additional 5 to 10 millimeters of rain expected there. I'll have more in the forecast later on. Stephanie.
Thanks, Kaylin. Time for our first break this evening. Coming up next, we'll tell you what to expect if you win our festive France River Cruise contest and give you today's keyword. We also have this story.
I'm Colin Flanagan, and we're here in Halifax at the Steel Wheels Motor Museum. We're celebrating St. Patrick's Day like many others. Learn more about it at 5 o'clock on CTV News.
It's the best night of the year. Join Jose Bautista, Brett the Hitman Hart, and Jennifer Botterill at the Desjardins Sports Charity Dinner April 16th in Halifax. Funds raised support Canadian Progress Club Halifax. For tickets, visit progressclubhalifax.ca.
This week, we launched our Festive France River Cruise contest. The lucky winners will experience iconic landmarks and savor the flavors of beautiful Burgundy. Radistina Markovic is a cruise manager with Alma Waterways. She joins us from Amsterdam to tell us more about this amazing giveaway. Welcome, Raddy.
Hello, Stephanie. What a pleasure being online with you for this interview. And the lucky winners are going to be treated with an amazing cruise with Alma Waterways in France.
So give us an overview of this wonderful prize.
Well, the name says it all. Flavors of Burgundy. When you think about flavors, you can go to wine, you can go to cheese, to a beautiful French cuisine. This cruise is all about feeling the destination and tasting the destination. You will be starting in the capital of Burgundy, the city of Dijon. And when you hear Dijon, you're most probably thinking about Dijon mustard. But many people don't know that Dijon is an amazing city with such an elegant architecture. And sailing down south and ending in the stomach of France, the city of Lyon, which is the gastronomic capital of France. It's an amazing experience sailing through the heart of many wine regions of France.
So why is river cruising a good way to see this part of France?
Well, like we like to say at Alma Waterways, the river cruises take you through the heart of the country. You always have a beautiful landscape on the way. You go to bed in one destination and you wake up in another destination. You don't have to pack and unpack. You can go upstairs on the sun deck with a glass of beautiful Beaujolais wine and enjoy the beautiful sunset. And it's easy because we dock right in the heart of town. So you can walk outside and explore on your own. You can follow your knowledgeable guides and learn more about the history of the region and towns.
And what makes this river cruise itinerary different from the other European cruises?
I like it because it sails to different wine regions. Everybody have heard about the Beaujolais, and we know how delicious the Beaujolais wine is. But did you know how beautiful the area of Beaujolais is? You go up in the hills, visit small vineyards, taste the wine. Then the next day you go to a little medieval town, and the last day you end up in the grand, beautiful city of Lyon with its many markets and Michelin star restaurants and Roman history, beautiful cathedrals. It's a combination not only between wine and gastronomy, but also about historic experiences. And since the towns along the way are small, they're easy to explore, and you have this cozy feeling and real vacation experience.
Thank you so much for telling us all about this wonderful trip.
Thank you, Stephanie. Good luck to the winners.
Radistina Markovic is a cruise manager with Alma Waterways. And now it's time to tell you how you could win this amazing adventure. CTV, in partnership with CAA Atlantic and Alma Waterways, is giving you the chance to win a festive France river cruise. One lucky viewer will win a 7-night Flavors of Burgundy cruise for 2, where you'll explore iconic landmarks, medieval villages, storied vineyards, and France's culinary capital. Each weeknight from now until next Friday, we'll give you a keyword. Once you have it, head to ctvatlantic.ca and follow the contest prompts, or scan the QR code on your screen right now. You can enter once per keyword. The winner will be announced Monday, April 6th. And tonight's keyword is museums. Good luck, everybody. Now here's Kaylin.
Oh, thank you, Stephanie. And speaking of adventures, it was a bit of an adventure to get around in parts of the Maritimes for today. The very rainy and windy conditions on this St. Patrick's Day. Here's a look at the scene in Moncton. This is at Gallagher's Irish Pub, and you can see the gray sky there and puddles there on the roads and on the sidewalk. I'll have more on the forecast coming up after the break.
Welcome back. It's time now for a look at the forecast. And I suspect there may be a lot of broken umbrellas after a day like this, if anyone even bothered to bring an umbrella anywhere today.
Yeah, that's a really good point. This was definitely more of a rain jacket day. Leave the umbrella at home, because with those strong winds, very easily for those umbrellas to be broken or turned inside out. Probably some rough sailings across the Halifax Harbor at points of the day today, as well as those south winds were basically funneling right up through the harbor. Bedford Basin, the weather station at Bedford Basin at one point reported a peak wind gust of 91 kilometers per hour. There's a look at our sunrise and sunset times. Now on our weather systems map, barometric pressure, as expected, fell from yesterday into today. It fell because it is a big trough of low pressure moving in with this extended weather front. The center of the storm system is up near Labrador. Now the reason why it was so windy for us in the Maritimes is we got squeezed between this very strong storm system and this area of high pressure sitting off towards the east, so the pressure gradient driving those high and gusty winds. Taking a look at things on radar, we still have rain coming down for parts of the region. It's a lighter rain, still reaching areas of Prince Edward Island and some parts of the north and west of Nova Scotia. Steadier rain around the eastern shore of Nova Scotia and Cape Breton, but the rain will continue to move out as we make our way through this evening and towards midnight. In fact, by the time we get to around the late evening hours, say between 10 p.m. and midnight, most of the rain should be off to the east of us, and partly cloudy skies in behind it. Temperatures, though, getting colder as we move through tonight into the start of the day for tomorrow, coming down below the freezing mark. And of course, with all the wet weather that we had today with the milder temperatures, you want to be careful about any wet surfaces around the Maritimes turning icy as those temperatures fall below freezing. In the forecast for Wednesday around the region, it'll be mainly sunny to a fair weather mix of sun and cloud. There is a low chance of some isolated flurries off the Gulf of St. Lawrence for parts of Cape Breton. Winds will still be a little bit blustery for tomorrow, though not nearly as strong as they were today. Here's a look how the winds are expected to play out as we continue to make our way through this evening, tonight, and into Wednesday. So the wind direction is becoming westerly tonight for the Maritimes, with the wind gusts diminishing into a general range of around 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. Now, the westerly direction of those winds, of course, is going to bring in that colder air off the continent. The winds in the forecast for tomorrow are mostly expected to be out of the west and northwest, and the gusts in the afternoon will mostly range between 30 and 40 kilometers per hour. Low temperatures in the forecast for tonight. So there they are, coming back below the freezing mark. By the start of the day for tomorrow, most of the temperatures in Nova Scotia will likely have fallen into a range from around -2 to -6, down around -6 for Charlottetown and Summerside and Prince Edward Island for tonight. And the low temperatures in New Brunswick, in a lot of cases, falling into a range of -8 to -12. A little bit colder than that up towards the northwest. Campbellton down to around -14, and Edmundston close to -16. And it remains chilly through the day for tomorrow. So the daytime high temperatures mostly remaining near or a few degrees below the freezing mark. High temperatures of -4 to 0 across Nova Scotia, around -3, -4 for most communities in Prince Edward Island. And in New Brunswick for tomorrow, most of the high temperatures between 0 and -4. A little bit colder up in the north. Bathurst around -5. Campbellton near -6, and Edmundston near -6 as well. Let's take a look at the forecast for Thursday as we continue to make our way through this week. Temperatures do remain below average for the middle of March. Temperatures moderate a little bit during the day on Thursday. The high temperatures ranging from a few degrees below to a few degrees above the freezing mark. Mostly a mix of sun and cloud expected. And in the forecast for Friday, there'll be a returning chance of some flurries for the province of New Brunswick, and most high temperatures in the Maritimes will come up into the low to mid single digits. All right, let's take a look at our weather watcher for tonight. And tonight's weather watcher, oh, this is a colorful one. It's coming in from 10-year-old Ava Carr. And Ava's from Salisbury, New Brunswick, sent in a drawing of being at the beach, looking at a beautiful sunset. And Ava can't wait for summer. Soon enough, Ava. In fact, we have the start of spring coming up at the end of this week. Weather watchers can come in anytime to CTV Weather Watchers, P.O. Box 1653, Halifax, Nova Scotia, B3J2Z4, or you can email me at kaylin.mitchell@bellmedia.ca. Stephanie.
Thanks, Kaylin. You don't need to go far to go on a trip through history. While it's March break for students in Nova Scotia, it's still an opportunity to learn something new. CTV's Paul DeWitt gives us a lesson at the Museum of Natural History.
Hi, my name is Jeff Gray here at the Museum of Natural History. We're here during March break in Dinosaur Exploration 2, now on view. It's a chance to step back in time and see dinosaurs here at your museum. So March break is our busiest week of the year here at the Museum of Natural History. We get lots of great visitors coming in to check out the museum. We see a lot of family visitors. We see visitors from across the province, not just HRM. People are getting out to see the city, getting out to see lots of other things, and they make the museum a part of their annual visit to the museum. Dinosaurs has been open since early February, so it's still relatively new, and it is here until September 7th, so there's still lots of time to see the exhibit. This week for March break, we have lots of programs. We have lots of volunteers who bring extra information, extra programming. People get a chance to learn more about dinosaurs, learn about Nova Scotia dinosaurs, where dinosaur names come from. It is a great chance to see this exhibit, learn a little bit extra, and then bring your friends back later this year and share some of that information with them. So also on in the museum, our latest permanent exhibit, Gelasi, which opened last year, is still new. It's been a huge hit for us with school programs and our Indigenous communities. We also have great programs running on our Science on a Sphere. Our live animal feedings are always popular. And of course, everyone has a chance to visit Gus while they visit the museum as well. Museum of Natural History is a great spot to visit with your family. We hope that people do take a time to check out Dinosaur Exploration 2. It's a great chance to step back 66 million years ago and see what the Earth was like at that time.
Time for one final break this evening. Still to come, braving the weather in the name of St. Patrick's Day.
We're happy to stand out here for an hour and get in, have a creamy pint ready for us.
How Maritimers are making the most of St. Patrick's Day despite the wind and rain. That's coming up next.
Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Aaron and Peter's payroll is back, and it's the easiest job you'll ever have.
Register now at move100halifax.ca and then listen for your name Monday at 8.
While wind and rain swept through Halifax this morning, it didn't stop St. Patrick's Day celebrations from getting underway before the sun even came up. CTV's Hafsa Arif spoke with a few people spending the day celebrating.
Before the crack of dawn, lines were already forming outside bars across Halifax. Bad weather didn't matter because for many, this is tradition.
Like we do every year, we're just waiting for the place to open to get our spot so we can see some great music, we can spend time with some great friends, and you got to get here early if you want to get in the door.
And if you're going to wait, might as well come prepared.
Got 2 umbrellas yesterday, owned one for the first time in my life today, and even though it's a little bit windy, the rain's not coming down. We're happy to stand out here for an hour and get in, have a creamy pint ready for us.
But St. Patrick's Day isn't just about early pints. Across the city, families go into the spirit too, with crafts, games, and a little bit of magic.
Called the leprechaun house trap. When the leprechaun goes in there, it goes to get the coins, but when it gets scared by the trap, it just gets out. And the only way to open it is by doing this. Favorite part of today was like the games. You know how you got coins? I like that.
At the Steel Wheels Motor Museum, it was a mix of horsepower and holiday spirit.
Well, we got the tunes going. We've got beers that can be green. We've got mocktails that can be green. We've got cars that are green. It's a good time.
For some here, it's the first stop of the day.
We've never been here before, and we thought we'd come and check it out. And we read about it online, and looked like a fun thing to do on a rainy, windy day today. We'll probably go out to a restaurant and have a few beers and have supper later.
No matter how you mark today, one thing's clear: St. Patrick's Day spirit is going strong. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Halifax.
So back to those bar goers. Some people were in line at 4 this morning and they did not open until 7.
It's 3 hours.
That is 3 hours of commitment in that wind and rain.
At least it wasn't a particularly cold rain, though.
Yes, and how about for those maybe going out tonight?
Well, we still have rainy and windy conditions in parts of the Maritimes, but the storm system itself is going to be clearing off towards the east tonight, and conditions will improve. I will talk more about that coming up in CTV News at 6.
Excellent. Thank you, Kaylin, and thank you so much for joining us tonight on CTV News at 5.